Hey everyone, and welcome. Today we are going to talk about something that might just flip the entire world of AI on its head. We're looking at a project called Codatta, which is building a royalty engine for the most important fuel in AI, which is, of course, data. So, let's get into it.
But before we dive into the solution, we kind of have to agree on the problem, right? So let me ask you, what is the single biggest thing holding AI back right now?
Well, it really comes down to these three things. First, getting your hands on high-quality data costs a fortune. It's just astronomical. Second, the quality of that data is often, let's just say, questionable. You have no real way of knowing where it came from. And finally, the actual people who create and label all this valuable data, they pretty much never see a dime from the massive value they're helping to build. The system's broken, and it's slowing everything down.
So that leads to the big what if. What if there was a way to make data affordable, guarantee it was high quality, and make sure the people who created it got paid, like every single time it was used? Well, that's exactly the puzzle that Codatta is setting out to solve.
So what is Codatta, officially? Well, the documentation calls it an on-chain knowledge layer. Now that sounds a little complicated, right? But the magic word here is assetize. It's all about turning data, images, text, whatever, into real assets, things you can own, trade, and most importantly, things that share the revenue they generate. It's like having a deed to a piece of digital property.
The easiest way to think about it is this. It's like a royalty system for data. You know how a musician gets paid a little bit every time their song gets played on the radio? Codatta wants to do that, but for data. Every time your data helps train an AI model, you get a cut. Simple as that.
Okay, so this brings us to the engine behind the whole thing, the royalty economy. Let's pull back the curtain and see how this all actually works.
And it's actually beautifully simple, just 3 steps. First, you own it. When you contribute data, you get fractional ownership. You literally own a piece of that asset. Second, it's tracked. Every single time that data is used to train an AI, the system records it. And third, you get paid. Smart contracts automatically split the royalties and send them to all the owners. No middlemen, no fuss. It's all automated. Now this is where it gets really powerful. This system creates this amazing feedback loop. Better data leads to better AI models, right? Well, better models get used a lot more. More usage means more royalties are paid out to the people who provided the data. And what does that do? It gives everyone a huge incentive to contribute even more high-quality data. It's this awesome self-reinforcing cycle for quality.
The system is also super flexible for the developers and companies buying the data. You've got your standard pay-as-you-go models, sure, but you also have these really cool options like TNPL, which stands for Train Now, Pay Later. And that's a game changer, because it means developers can get started without a massive upfront cost and then pay for the data once their AI model actually starts to work and create value.
Okay, so we've covered the how. Let's talk about the what. What's the real, tangible payoff for the people who are actually going to be using this thing day to day?
And this really lays out the win-win here. If you're a contributor, someone providing data, you finally get to keep ownership of your work and get a piece of the pie when it succeeds. And if you're a buyer, an AI developer, you get access to data with a verifiable history, a provenance, so you know it's legit. Plus, you get those awesome flexible payment options we just talked about. Now here's a really important point. After hearing all that, you might be thinking, oh, so it's a new store for data? But nope. It's crucial to understand that Codatta is not another data marketplace. That's not the goal at all. Instead, think of it more like an engine you can drop into your car. It's a powerful backend system that any existing marketplace or platform can just plug right into. They don't have to start from scratch. They can just add Codatta to give their users all these amazing ownership and royalty features. It's designed to be infrastructure, not a new storefront. So let's just zoom out for a second and look at the really big picture. What could a system like this mean for the entire future of data and for AI itself?
Well, here's the fundamental shift. For years, we treated data like a simple commodity, something you buy once, use, and that's it. This system turns data into a productive asset. It becomes something you can own, something that generates an ongoing yield, kind of like a stock that pays you dividends. It totally rewrites the economics for the most basic building blocks of AI. And that leaves us with one last pretty big question to think about. We've all heard that phrase, right? Data is the new oil. Well, if that's true, then who should own the royalties from it? Should it just be the handful of giant companies that have the power to refine it? Or should the people who actually provide that raw material get their fair share too? Something to think about.